You can get your tickets now for the Progressive 50-50 in support of the Neepawa Curling Club and the Yellowhead Center by scanning the QR code on your screen now. The final draw will be February 12th at 3:45. Tickets are 1 for $3, 2 for $5, 5 for $10, or 12 for $20.
Curling in the small town part of Manitoba is really big in the winter. It's something for the community to do, and it really brings the community together. We can hold annual events like our Bonspiels and our weekly nights. It's really something to do for everyone in the community. You can do it from any age.
You can win a pair of tickets for the 2023 Tim Hortons Brier in London or the 2023 BKT Tires and OK Tire Men's Worlds in Ottawa, plus $500. Or maybe equip your team with a set of 4 of Asham's new Ultra Force brushes. And at the same time, support the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame and Museum and Curl Manitoba's Curling for Life Endowment Fund. Raffle tickets are available now. 1 for $5, 4 for $10, 10 for $20. Buy online at fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba or scan the QR code on your screen right now. It is Saturday evening in Neepawa, Manitoba, the 2020 Viterra Curling Championship, the 98th Annual Manitoba Men's Championship. We're down to the final of 3 stages of competition. We went through a 32-team qualifying round, got down to 8. The 8-team playoff round has ended. We're now into the final 4, the Page playoff. We have 4 teams have survived the bottom side of the draw. The elimination game tonight on the ice will be the game between the number 1 seed, Matt Dunstone, and against the team from Brandon, skipped by Steve Irwin. That's the elimination game, the bottom side of the draw. The winner goes through to the semifinal, the loser out. But the top side of the draw is going to be a dandy. It is between Reed Carruthers, the number 2 seed, and the number 5 seed, Braden Calvert. Braden Calvert, the only undefeated team left in the competition. That game, of course, we'll see the winner go through to the final tomorrow afternoon. The loser drop in against the winner of the Irwin-Dunstone match. Resby Coots with Barry Gorlick again. It's been fun so far today. We anticipate a dandy again tonight. Tell me this. We'll be featuring, of course, the A side of the Page draw, Carruthers, Calvert. What would you anticipate, Barry?
An absolute barn burner. Somebody named Calvert wants to preserve that undefeated record right now. Somebody named Carruthers, playing a man short, wants to teach the relative youngster a thing or two about how fragile undefeated records can be. Can't wait, Resby.
So what kind of a game do you anticipate?
It's going to be an aggressive game from the beginning. They're not interested in feeling each other out. They know each other extremely well, and they're going to be going for the gusto from the first rock.
Team lineups, the 3-man team of Carruthers, Derek Samagalski, Connor Negovan, coached by Rob Meekin. The more traditional 4-man lineup for Braden Calvert, his longtime third, going back to junior days, Kyle Kurz. Rob Gordon is the lead. Ian McMillan is the second. So away we go. First rock. First rock is the yellow stone by Calvert, a center guard. And interestingly, Calvert goes around the center guard from the outside, Barry. That's a bit strange.
Yep. They're going to maybe try to use some youthful, almost exuberant new style strategies to see whether they can get into the more mature gentleman's head as early as possible.
Well, Carruthers plays his own center line guard, tries to run it through. It was on the center line, but because it was his own stone, he can remove it and doesn't have to go back. Calvert has last rock by virtue of the fact that he is the undefeated team. He has earned that privilege until such time as he has a loss. Then, of course, if he goes through to the final, he'll be playing in the final without a loss.
The Calvert team looks just plain excited in a calm way. I ran into some parents who are here to cheer their athletes on, and you could get the sense that maybe they're feeling that this can be their year, and they don't mind the idea of coming up against a veteran team like Carruthers because they know them so well. They can match them shot for shot tonight. They know they can. All they have to do is go at it end upon end upon end and try to make their way to the final, which is a big prize, Resby, tonight.
It really is, the opportunity to go through to the final. As they always say, and I've heard many, many teams say, if you can promise me I will win, I'm quite happy playing the semifinal because I have the opportunity to feel the ice and to be ready, get some momentum going into the final. The problem is, of course, there is no promise. And so going through to the final means that you only have to win one game. If you're in the semifinal, you have to win two tomorrow.
And if they're worried about how the ice is running during the morning game, they can watch our live stream, Resby.
There you go. Calvert had played a real nice draw to the wings, left the double kill, which the Carruthers team made. Samagalski now is going to hit a rock in the center of the rings. And as early as this in the end, you can almost project we're going to go through to a blank end.
Yeah, and Reed Carruthers and Derek Samagalski go all the way back to their first men's team together in 2006. Reed puts the broom down, and Derek knows exactly what that position means. There's no need to talk about weight choices. A veteran team.
This is Ian McMillan.
Rob Gordon on the brush. Not only a lead for this team, but a very valued member of the Team Manitoba staff.
Open house, a rock way to the edge, 4 inches off the foam, will not have anything to do with the outcome of this end.
So, contrary to the thought I had at the opening of the game, this end is now officially wide open, testing hit weight paths, but looking to get this end over and done with quickly.
Tight guard, in's fine. In's fine.
.14.6 to the tee line means 14.6 seconds hog to hog to have the rock travel as far as the tee line. So that's the same speed we've seen all day. Already terrific speed for the center sheet. The teams are completely used to it. This is, after all, the end of day 4 of competition.
So he throws it full into the 8 foot, just off the center line.
trying the intern side with this hit.
Gotta go. Clean. No, right up, right up.
Carruthers will play the hit. If I told you, Barry Gorlick, that since 2013, Reed Carruthers is played in the 1-1 game in this competition every year, would it surprise you?
Nope.
He has played 11 consecutive. Of course, there was no championship, the COVID year, 2021. So he has played consecutively in the 1-1 game every time. Been to the final 8 times, won it 6 times. So clearly the veteran in context of the specific event, for sure. A lot of experience to draw on.
And yet before the game, he had his earbuds in. I didn't ask him what his choice of music was or inspirational talks, but he was bouncing around, a burning passion for the game, and not someone who will ever let the stage or the event get the better of him by reason of that experience.
And lest anyone want to give me credit for the excellence of the research I did on that one factoid, 2 factoids in fact, let it be clear, I'm a very good reader, and I have just read you the information provided to me by the Curl Manitoba statistician, volunteer extraordinary Rick Mutton, who does a tremendous job of providing information.
And knows a little bit about curling, too.
Does. Former Manitoba Curling Association president, longtime volunteer, ran the junior bonspiel, the Christmas bonspiel, when it was a thing. But nowadays, his primary involvement in the sport is maintaining a database which does in fact include every person who can be identified. There may be a couple of blank spots in a team from 73 years ago where a lead or a second name may not be yet identified, but that database that Rick maintains is inclusive of the records in Curl Manitoba, Manitoba Curling Association, Manitoba Ladies Curling Association competition, going right back to the beginning of time.
Invaluable resource. Not that we need to fill time during a game as important as this, but for
except if we're going to play a blank end.
Invaluable resource.
So folks, if you're listening, and if you know that your grandfather once played in the British Consuls in a competition and you wonder how he did, you could send an email. Now, I'm not going to give you Rick's email address because he might cut me off in terms of response, but you can send an email to the email address of the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame and Museum, which is mbcurlmuseum.com. No, that's the website, I'm sorry. mbcurlmuseum@gmail.com. If you want to send the name, an approximate era, we can let you know what your grandfather's record was in competition way back then. And so that bit of blather has taken us through a very opening end. Braden Calvert with Last Rock has blanked that opening end. It is 1-0 it's 0-0 after a blank end. Calvert and Carruthers will be back with a second end in a moment. Today's sponsor, Sunrise Credit Union. Building a brighter future together.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inn's destination centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
Where can you find handmade pizza, classic burgers, scrumptious salads, the finest Manitoba-sourced fried chicken, and so much more. Chicken Chef, bring your appetite. We'll take care of the rest.
Curl Manitoba is proudly sponsored by Manitoba Pork, locally grown, globally preferred. We're back in the Yellowhead Center in Neepawa. A blanked first and a wide open. The first two rocks suggested that there was going to be a game on right from the start. A tight center guard. The Calvert team went around it from the outside, dead behind top 8 foot, and no fooling around by Carruthers. He played immediately to run his own guard through. Didn't make that shot, but consequently it ended up going to the blank. I noticed in that advertising deck the logo of the folks at Chicken Chef. I want to just say hello one time to Tom Yando, a curling colleague from back when, from the Plumas area, still very involved in the community, farmer, but also a Chicken Chef restaurateur. And I understand that breakfast this morning was great. I didn't have it, but a couple of folks did. So. Dunstone with hammer in the opening end puts 3 on the board against Steve Irwin. So that game, Irwin is going to have to really go for it early on.
An Irwin team that simply has to be pretty emotionally drained, if not physically exhausted, having played twice already today in very intense matches.
Including the extra end to win against Corey Chambers. That game ended just about an hour ago now.
So in our feature game, it's game on again. Rob Gordon with his second stone trying to come right on top of the Carruthers rock that is at the top of the button. He'd like to lock it on.
Play the weight. Back key. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Just going to get a little nudge on it. Rolls open.
Just draw or kill it?
Yeah.
Draw?
That's my first thought, yeah.
Yeah.
A strong man, Derek Samagalski, has already been told by Connor Negovin he'll give him 4 feet less, which means Derek will have the opportunity to affect the path of this rock.
Whoa, Derek.
It's still gliding very well, though.
This comes to that red stone, taps it, maybe shot stone, maybe not. That situation will change several times before the end concludes. But Braden's response is to rip off the corner guard or the center guard. May even run both off.
The call is for both. Again, not wanting to get into any holes that he can't dig himself out of against the Carruthers team. Wanting to clean up the front.
And
Perfect.
Does clear everything from the front. The shooter rolls to within a foot or two of the wall. Both center guards gone.
Want to sit 3?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm seeing control out. 2/3. Yeah.
2/3 of the top yellow rock flanking the center line. Pushing it back onto the red rock to lie 3.
The shooter will roll fairly wide. Seems like he's going to curl up to the face of it. Over curls completely, runs his own out of the rings.
Roll into it.
The intensity of the brushing by Connor Negevin, evidenced by those grunts the entire length of the sheet. Pound for pound, he's probably the strongest brusher out here.
Ian McMillan, in turn.
Hard! Hard!
Trying to contact the yellow and roll back to the outside, but it would appear to me that he's a little underthrown. He'll hit and roll on top of the yellow. Not a bad result, but certainly not what he was aiming for.
This nose.
Maybe a little bit of early game uncertainty. Won't call it jitters, but not entirely sure of how a particular weight choice is going to track.
I don't think it goes
And
unless you spin out.
Yeah.
maybe babying his release just a little bit.
You can try a little tap.
One thing about this ice, it's unforgiving. If you get the rock started, it's gone. If you set the rock back, it's going to stay straight. And it's all about precision.
No, it's not good. Yeah.
Back 4, back 8.
I like a little more ice.
I think so, back 8.
Back 8, I want you to throw like 14,
14-3 is more like back line weight.
I got really heavy. Back line.
Connor concerned that Derek was being given ice that was a little
Clean.
minimal.
Where?
Back 8.
Clean. Yep. Yep. Yep.
He is going to make almost perfect nose contact.
Had to not be square.
Push it back 8 foot.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah. I like that. Just roll off an inch, right?
Good board.
Yeah, just a hair low.
Yeah.
Kyle Kurtz being asked to throw good board weight in order to shuffle those rocks and roll off the face of the target rock just a hair.
The idea being to push the red through, take the run out of the back of the rings, stick in the back 4 foot. At the same time, sit just on the corner of the yellow in order to be able to play an angle to get rid of it without contacting the back one. Just about like that.
Perfectly like that. Tremendous weight choice and a great read on that spot in the ice this early in the game, coupled with very intense brushing.
In.
As compared to this weight choice, which is a full normal hit.
Yep. Hard con, roll. Nice shot, Derek.
Oh boy. Nice shot. Good call, Reed.
Is that just going to give him the double, though?
Yeah.
Roll, big roll off the top one. Right, we can try to get the double, but sticking's the more important.
Board weight.
Yeah, same weight I just threw.
So once again, trying to cross the face of the rock he's aiming at, roll across to the open side of the rings, sticking the key, possible double if it works out, the angle is right.
Has to save his shooter.
Whoa!
Yep.
Whoa! Never! Curl! Curl!
Hard roll.
Leaving a run back double. Not the outcome they wanted.
Sorry, Kyle.
Reed throwing his intern, knowing that Derek Samagalski will be able to hold it on line. But wanting to come across the face of the target rock.
Well, yep.
Intern hit.
Yep. Yep. Whoa. Yep.
Straight back double kill. Bang and bang. Doesn't roll it out, does get it out to third shot rock position. Maybe not. They look closely at the one at the top of the rings. So you heard them say, I think it's them. That means that there are 2 yellows and the force is on.
Yeah, he's going to have to hit that one. Right? I can't jam it though. Yeah, we think so. If we knows this one, he's got to hit it back, he's got to stick it, or else he's got to jump too. If we nose and they nose back, spin. Yeah. But it's either that or we draw, but like we can play the draw to here.
Always thinking
But if he rolls it out, then we've got no
2 shots ahead, trying to get the angle on the Yellowstones to the point where a double is actually makeable as opposed to possible.
You like this? Could play a little halfway.
So they're going to gain a rock of height with a nose hit here, knowing that Reed will have to go after it, which in turn, if it's a nose, will gain another rock of height and make the double
Should be good though, eh?
available to them and even probable.
Braden Calvert, a twice world junior champion.
Yep. Hard.
Throw the intern hit. Lightweight, looking for nose.
Plan B.
Inside roll to the center line. Not quite.
Yeah, let's just double check here. I do believe it's us.
Everybody believes it's yellow.
Got a reader. 16-year-old me would not have missed that line call on the first one. Yep. Little rusty. Little rusty. I was in my prime. Yeah.
Connor Negevin not exactly long in the tooth, but reminiscing nonetheless about his youth as a 16-year-old.
When he was in his prime, for goodness sakes. But he was a line caller then. He hasn't been very much in recent years. He does say, I wouldn't have missed that line call when I was 16. So Carruthers will throw the intern
Right to it, Derek.
and stick it in the back of the forefoot.
Hey, whoa. Whoa.
He'll roll a bit under.
Okay, good.
So now the question is there a straight back double kill? Stick for 2? Clearly there's a feeling that there is, because they're going to play it.
Gotta be fairly happy with that. All good. No worries.
The question becomes, where does the yellow rock in the back of the forefoot leave the rings? Any risk of taking the red out? I suspect if they take the red out, they also roll out. So
Right.
Braden Calvert, final stone of the second end of the Page playoff topside draw.
And a jam.
And he jams it straight back, gives up the single, a steal of 1 for Carruthers. Carruthers leads Calvert 1-0 after 2. We'll be back with end number 3 in a moment.
Today's sponsor, PharmaSafe. Canada's community pharmacy is proud to support Canada's community game.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Asham Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Asham Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at asham.com.
You can win a pair of tickets for the 2023 Tim Hortons Briar in London or the 2023 BKT Tires and OK Tire Men's Worlds in Ottawa, plus $500. Or maybe equip your team with a set of 4 of Asham's new Ultra Force brushes. And at the same time, support the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame and Museum and Curl Manitoba's Curling for Life Endowment Fund. Raffle tickets are available now. 1 for $5, 4 for $10, 10 for $20. Buy online at fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba or scan the QR code on your screen right now.
The 2023 Viterra Championship, the Manitoba Men's Curling Championship, Neepawa, Manitoba, the Yellowhead Center. Reed Carruthers has just stolen a single point. Braden Calvert attempting a run back double, running it straight through to take a rock out of the forefoot, in fact jammed. Gave up the steal at 1. Worth the risk, Barry?
Sure. Interesting. The rock made a move that they weren't expecting. They were actually thinking that it was going to track and stay out far enough, and all of a sudden really screamed for brushing. So worth the risk. Why? Because there's 8 ends to go, and it would have been a nice deuce to hang up.
But instead they gave up a single steal. Carruthers goes bite the top forefoot. Calvert sets up a corner guard.
You have to pick your spots, but in a game between 2 teams who are playing this well, and both of these teams are playing really well, your risk-reward analysis will come up 2 and maybe a maximum of 3 times a game. And the earlier the choice has to be made, the less the risk. And yes, it's a 3-point swing, but they're just going to shake it off and try to get a deuce now in the 3rd end.
So with that tight center guard in place, Calvert is going to have Rob Gordon go from the center line to the wings in behind his corner guard.
And there's a nice tight corner guard, which is the way they have to be on ice with this much movement to prevent the other team from following you in very easily and out-counting you. It's a little deep.
Slides a little deep, but is buried back of the tee line. Carruthers again goes to the wings, an out-turn draw to the center.
Line's good.
Okay, Derek. Not light. It's not light, Derek. Not light, Derek.
Whoa, curl side. Whoa, wait until late. Yeah, that's okay. Get ready. Curl. Whoa.
So once again, a textbook start to this end. And here comes a high, hard one to try to clear at least 2 of the 3 yellow rocks off the center, if not catch the 3rd one biting the forefoot.
Rob Gordon, an out-turn hit. No, I'm sorry, Ian McMillan. Everything goes, and he sets up a rock, helping to cover his own red stone back 12-foot.
Top 8.
Yeah.
Reed took a look at the red stone in behind the tee line to see whether there might be any chance at getting at it with the out turn, but decided he couldn't. So they'll stay aggressive and try to load up the 4-foot.
At mid-range center line guard, a friend for Reed Carruthers at the moment.
Line's good.
Wait's there.
Okay, you can wait then.
Okay, line only.
Line's good.
Line only.
Whoa. Whoa. Control side. Actually, it's on. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Shot there. Shot, bud.
14-4.
Tack.
Over curls just that little bit, peeks out on the other side, hack weight
Yeah, good hack. That was a full.
to contact and roll back to the tee line on the other side. Open, split the rings.
Derek Samagalski is a big, strong athlete whose regular position is throwing rocks 3 and 4. But does he ever have a lovely touch now that he's been asked to straddle the role of playing second but really third? That comes as well from the fact that he's just a superb mixed doubles player, Resby, and in fact won the province with his partner, mixed doubles partner, Kristen Karwacki, during COVID.
So McMillan just a little bit down in weight. In fact, curls over across the face of that rock in the 4-foot and gets to the nose of it under the guard.
That would be Connor Negevin right on his tiptoes, putting his entire body weight on the brush head with an outstanding result.
Try to get the nose on. Okay, nice shot. Try to get the nose.
Yeah.
Angle frozen on that rock in the top 4-foot.
Great shot. Yeah, great shot.
Calvert looks at coming around, wants to tap that yellow to get a little separation between yellow and red, and he'll have an angle he can work with, but he'll leave Carruthers an angle he can work with.
The key is unlocking the yellow-red rocks that are essentially frozen together right now to be able to make a play on them. So this is a setup shot.
Just going to over curl and rub that center line guard.
What do you see there? Good release, Miguel?
Yeah, why don't you throw the exact same throw? Yeah, I got you. Same no more.
Connor Negevin does a lot of teaching and coaching of curlers, including in Japan. And he can't help himself, and Derek really is grateful for it, but you can see how he's confirming to Derek that he liked his last release very much and wants the exact same throw this time.
Where?
Weight's good.
No bounce.
So again, he wants to play the
Clean.
angled freeze,
Clean.
sit with a couple of yellow stones angled into the red shot that's in the 4-foot.
Line, line, line.
A setup for a future shot.
Right on nose.
Great pair of throws by Derek.
So Kyle Kurz and Braden Calvert very much on the same wavelength. They're going to have to run the red center guard straight through. There's a red catcher back in the back corner of the 12-foot circle. Hard to know whether it'll get in the way or not. But if he makes the run back, we'll see.
Yep.
Just rips it off.
Double on your shooter in the sixth, probably? Yeah. What's the shot if we just control on the nose? How does that ever work?
I think we're going to spread one of them.
Okay, bud.
So, I'm seeing like, I'm seeing smooth and a hair high.
Okay.
Okay. Nose is okay.
Smooth and a hair high. Okay.
Right there.
Risk reward again. Reed wants to keep his 3 yellow stones in play. Smooth in Carruthers speak means just nice, normal takeout weight. Something significantly less than peel, but enough momentum to get all 4 rocks moving. That is the 3 yellow ones, including the shooter, squirting the red rock out the back of the rings, of course.
The red will leave the rings. He doesn't want to leave the 3 lined up for the perfect triple kill, so he wants to get one of them to roll, either the first one, his throwing rock, or the run touching the red.
He's hoping the red-yellow combo will work just like that.
Shot, bud. Nice. It's gonna.
Again, not a shot you can make with wide striking band club style curling rocks, but a shot that these professional curlers know they can make with the right weight choice and the right angle of impact with these competition stones, which are only in their second year of use, the new rock set purchased by Curl Manitoba late in 2021. Wonderful action off these stones.
Well, as we watch Braden Calvert prepare, Brent Irwin has rubbed a guard, removed 1 red stone from the rings, but Matt Dunstone goes to the hack to throw his last stone of the 3rd end, drawing free to the rings for a 3. Calvert's hit underway. Out turn. Rolls right out of the rings.
Separation on Reed's upcoming shot is actually secondary. They like the idea of getting this stone in behind the red guard just off the center line, in between the McMunnon Yates logo and the top of the 12-foot.
This shot, a shot to force Calvert to take a single point with his last rock. Matt Dunstone has made his draw to the rings for the second 3 and 3 ends. A 3, Irwin a 1, another 3 for Dunstone, so Dunstone leads 6-1 after 3 ends.
Looks hot there. Looks hot, bud. Okay, you're in a tighter track. Okay, you got to be on the tee line. It's really curling.
Okay. What do you Line's want? Good. Curl a bit. Where, guys? Curl. Curl.
So they will put it on the tee line, just back of the tee line in the 4-foot circle. Undercover, Calvert is going to have to basically draw to the button for a single point.
Mission accomplished by Team Carruthers, retaining hammer in the even ends. It's warm in the building this evening, and you heard the comment, the quickest it's been all week based on hog-to-hog times. That can potentially get in your head a little bit as you're sitting in the hack.
You guys, line's good. Okay, right on the tee line.
Well, you've got two
Running a bit. Yeah, right on the tee.
young, healthy, strong, experienced sweepers. This rock, though, has no backing. It's going to have to stop dead on the button. And they sweep it to cover the pinhole. So, forced to take a single point, Braden Calvert is able to draw to the center of the rings for that single, and it is now a 1-1 score. Calvert Carruthers going to the fourth end. Carruthers with last rock at the fourth. We'll be back with it in a moment.
We hope you're enjoying this Manitoba Championship curling, brought to you by Seagram's 83, Manitoba's favorite Canadian whiskey.
At McMunn & Yates, we've always believed that good neighbors make for better communities. McMunn & Yates has everything you need for your next project, right at your fingertips. And McMunnandYates.com will always be there, ready to help.
You work hard to keep it all together. And when you need a little help, we're there. At PharmaSave, we see you.
Live well with PharmaSave.
Into the fourth end of our feature game, the top side of the Page playoff draw in the Viterra Championship, the Manitoba Men's Championship for 2023. The four surviving teams, number one seed Matt Dunstone is on the bottom side of the Page draw. He's playing Steve Irwin from Brandon. On the top side of the Page draw, the number two seed Reed Carruthers playing the number 5 seed Braden Calvert. That game is now 1-1, playing in the fourth end. Calvert with the single, forced to a single, facing two with his last rock, drew the button within on the third, puts up the center line guard halfway in, a little more than halfway in. Carruthers went around it right to the top of the 8-foot circle.
Linked to the fact that, according to the team's commentary, this is the quickest they've seen the ice all week, is the fact that it seems to be running a little straighter tonight than we've seen earlier today and yesterday. So the rock is traveling a shorter path, 5 feet of curl versus 5'6", and they've already made the adjustment, but it's something that for people who don't curl very often or never get to touch arena ice is a big part of the game through 10 ends. Staying right on top of the ice as it changes. And these are two of the best teams at doing that.
So the red Rob Gordonstone back into the 4-foot circle. Just comes into view there. The Yellowstone from Connor Negevin just to the top of the button.
For anyone who likes watching competitive curling, Resby, this end already has the look of something kind of fun.
It has the potential to get real interesting. So Ian McMillan will be asked to come to the inside of that Yellowstone top of button. Slide a little bit under the two guards.
Broom at the edge of the 8-foot. This is making a big move.
Does roll right under.
Touch high, Derek.
Overcurled a little at the end.
In the fourth of the 10 mini single end games tonight.
Nose is close.
It's game on in the fourth end.
You'll get a bit here.
Reed doesn't like the feel of it, so he's looking for a high-speed run back with Connor Negavin's last one.
Clean. Yep. 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 Whoa. Whoa. Good throw.
Clears all of the rocks out of the front. One yellow guard stays a couple feet off center. Two reds, still counting that Yellowstone.
Like half a rock lower than the yellow is perfect.
Split center.
We'll put up the guard to split the center. You heard him say it.
Okay, line's good. Okay.
Almost in. Almost in. Line only.
This guard has got to finish to the center line, but they don't want to come too deep.
Almost 8 foot now. Full 12.
Not bad.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Hey, Derek, this air high. Let's make two go. You'll still get a little here. 3/4.
Derek Samagalski's money shot, his in turn just off the center line.
Yep. 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 Okay, bro.
That's fine.
Dead straight back.
Little unlucky.
It's a little scarier leaving them that.
With that pace, if he hits
Don't hate this.
the target rock an inch either way, the two red rocks that are in line atop the 4-foot button
Don't think we need to whip it.
move at least out of the 4-foot.
Sure.
The Calvert nervous about the
Low, yeah.
Yellowstone left there by Samagalski, so he's going to play a hit on it, try to roll back to the center line.
We might see the sliver left.
Kyle Kerr's first shot of this fourth end.
A beautiful, balanced, flat foot delivery.
Hard. Whoa. Yep. Yep. That's fine.
Rolls just a little too far.
Nose.
So Carruthers knows this is not
That's
a
great.
pair of rocks that's going to leave in one shot, so he's playing the nose of it.
Yeah, I like that. Just trust it. Trust the speed here.
Once again, Connor Negevin talking his teammate right through the intellectual side of the shot making. Brusher, psychologist, thrower of 3 stones.
Comes to the nose of it, not quite, rolls off. 2 yellows set up wide open.
Yeah. I like that same throw.
Yeah, you can go a pound heavier, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Calvert needs this rock to stay in the rings to work toward a force.
Yep.
Carruthers will still be able to see a pathway to a deuce.
Clean. Yep. Oh. Clean.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
A very knowledgeable and appreciative and large crowd here on a Saturday
crowd.
evening, Resby.
Like intern.
I think they know that
Play out.
Braden Calvert might prefer to have that rock roll a little bit to the outside, but still.
smooth.
Samogolski playing the hit, the double kill.
There's that call for smooth weight again. Not overpowered, perfectly balanced delivery, and excellent outcome.
Good shot, Derek.
Good shot.
Yeah, I think it's hair slower. Roll right to here is pretty good too.
This side's sat, and then throw control. Great shot there.
If we roll like a third open on that side, it's really good.
Yeah. That been nice, or you guys like that? Mine just a tick more.
I like that.
Well, you heard Braden's analysis. He would like to roll under. Maybe even peek out a little on the other side. But job one is the hit and then the roll.
Hard! Hard! Keep going! Keep going! Okay, that's good.
Doesn't get the roll.
This team has been together a long time, or has been since 2018, so their relationship and the way in which they communicate with each other using actually an economy of language is very interesting to listen to. They share thoughts without having to say anything, know exactly what their strategy is, and of course, having seen thousands and thousands of rocks thrown by each of them, know exactly what to expect when the rock leaves the thrower's hand.
So Carruthers now sets up for an out-turn hit. Hit the one under the guard first, he said, the high one in the top 12-foot edge of it. Back to the other one to kill a pair and sit there in the open.
Yep, yep.
Yep.
Whoa, whoa,
However, he doesn't get it, doesn't curl up quite enough. Rubs the red across to the center line. It sits wide open on the center line.
A little more weight than Braden Calvert threw.
Yeah, right there. It's exactly what Robbie throwed. Even if it's here, it's got to make the double. Never as long as it's dead fair.
So they're trying to create the same situation for Reed Carruthers that they had. Get a straight back double. He's got to make it to blank. If he sticks, he gets the single.
You always leave open the possibility of a jam if you're able to line them up perfectly.
Well, that's certainly what happened on the second end when Calvert took a shot at a straight back double, ended up jamming the top one onto the second one, give up the steal of one.
Because you never want to risk losing your shooter, the tendency is always to make contact a little closer to the center of the target rock than you really intend.
And they do get it dead behind. Well, not quite when you look at it from that angle.
That's interesting. They're playing the draw. They just don't yet trust the line down the center with upweight to track precisely enough. And because the rock ended up slightly behind the button, it in effect acts as a barrier or a blocker for the incoming draw shot if Reed's a pound heavy.
Fourth end. The topside draw in the Page Playoff Manitoba Viterra Championship, Carruthers and Calvert. Traded singles so far, a steal of one followed by a force. And Carruthers now in the hack with the final stone of the fourth, facing two, playing a draw to the full 4 foot with a little bit of backing in the back of the 4 foot in the curl path.
Too much room. You got too much room. Curl side. Your curl side, Derek. It's got a curl.
Says it's got a curl to get to that rock in the back of the 4 foot.
Split the T-line with this line. He's got too much ice.
So he's going to stop on the button. He does stop on that red one. It is for a single point. It is a 2-1 score. Carruthers over Calvert. Force of Calvert, then a force of Carruthers to a single. And if we look back at Dunstone-Irwin before we cut away, Dunstone has stolen the deuce. It is 8-1 Dunstone over Irwin playing in number 5. We'll be back. Carruthers over Calvert. 2-1. Back with the fifth in a moment.
Thank you for joining us for this Manitoba Championship draw, brought to you by Seagram's VO. Masterfully blended, distinctly Canadian.
At Viterra, we believe in the power of connection. Our world-leading agriculture network connects producers and consumers to supply top-quality food ingredients each and every day. Our team takes great pride in working closely with farmers to help feed the world. It's something we've been doing for over 100 years. And as an industry leader, we're dedicated to playing a critical role in meeting the needs of a growing world. Because together, we're stronger and achieve more.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
I'm going to do it for the old man.
Back into the Yellowhead Center in Neepawa. After a Braden Calvert blank of the opening end, a single steal for Carruthers, a force of one. Calvert puts a point on the board. Now a force of one. Carruthers puts a point on the board. It is 2-1 after 4 ends into the 5th end. Calvert with last stone.
Never curl, never curl, never curl. Good. Yeah, good shot.
There's Reed coaching his 2 teammates, keeping them completely in the game, knowing that playing shorthanded is tough on everyone.
Kyle Kurz, Ian McMillan, the sweepers for Rob Gordon. Rock is going to curl up just past that center line guard, deep of the 12 foot into the 8 foot. Tucks out a little bit, so Carruthers will draw to it.
Line's good. Can wait. Line's good. Curl side. Whoa, looks hot here. Stay close. Curl side. Curl side. Curl, curl, curl. Good. Good shot.
Reed even filling the role of cheerleader, which ordinarily would be occupied by the second brusher standing alongside the rock as Derek is trying to make it curl.
Rob Gordon's second shot of this 5th end. just by over curls.
I don't mind that, yeah. You like in-turn cross or out-turn high?
Out-turn high, I think, bud.
Yeah.
So they are going to run that yellow guard through. It is their own stone, so
Yeah, I think you'll get a bit.
no foul on the free guard zone, no tick rule.
Clean, whoa, 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 curl.
Curl!
Okay, good shot.
Just wanted that to curl that little bit more to get both threads moving, but still gets rid of one. Calvert will play a board weight hit, try to roll under that corner guard.
And if he can, the idea of a two-spot in the fifth end is definitely on. It's early in the end, of course, but that corner guard will come into play.
Just board. Yep. Hair down. Easy.
Kurz and Gordon now the sweepers for Ian McMillan. Doesn't get a roll, it gets the nose hit.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay. Easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is the chess game where nobody can get anything going in this end. But if Reed can get a roll under the corner guard,
That's fine, Derek.
That way, Derek. Hair low. Don't hate control.
this gives Braden the opportunity to split the two red rocks, the shooter and the target rock, with the yellow rock squirting out the back. Another precision shot. So far tonight, Resby, everyone's found themselves on the wrong side of the inch, but this is a shot that can set up the end for Calvert.
He wants to just cross the nose of the red stone, roll a bit to the right, push the yellow, or the red off the yellow in behind the guard, but no, he'll cross right across it. Does spill his own out of the rings, rolls the shooter out of the rings.
Disaster, in other words.
Full and complete miss.
Think so.
So here's Reed's experience kicking in. He knows Calvert isn't building anything against him in this end. He knows the fifth end break is coming up. He's happy just to rip the corner guard and eliminate any possibility of it being used by the Calvert team.
And he does just that, picks it off. Probably a little close to the rock in the rings for comfort, but so the die is cast now. There will be a blank unless there's a miss here in this end.
For those into sports betting, based on everything we've seen this week, do not place any kind of a wager on a miss. Not with these teams, and not with this ice and the quality of the rocks. That was just a test to see whether there really is such thing as a commentator's curse, but I think we're okay, Resby.
Oh, he hung it on the corner.
So we haven't seen a rock down this path, which is interesting. It is very warm in here tonight. We can see some frost starting to work its way in from the side bumpers. But this rock tracked perfectly.
Near nose hit. Last of the third stones to come, Kyle Kurz. Does hit and roll out.
Tracking like it's heavy, bud.
Just taking another good close look at the outturn path, thinking that they might need it in later ends in the game. What is this, Resby? The equivalent of a walk in baseball where the pitcher takes a bit of a breather, the defense takes a breather, and
I guess
whoever's at the plate trots down to first base, and then they get back into it. Testing, testing, testing. Just nice control weight. Trying to see whether there's any unexpected movement.
Trying to do this?
So Reed Carruthers goes to the hack to throw his final rock of the fifth. He's got an open shot. One side of the 8-foot circle. He'll try to hit and roll across. And if they can hear a bit of applause in the background, it is in fact a concession by Steve Irwin. A long day has come to an end with disappointment, down 8-1, playing in 5. Irwin hit, stuck for a single point, 8-2. They know that playing Matt Dunstone tonight, they're not going to come back from 6 down. So they concede. Carruthers will hit, roll across the center line, probably wanted to roll a little further. But Calvert will have the hit opportunity, the blank opportunity.
Just wanting to give Braden Calvert a little different look with his last one. An in-turn with the brush a quarter of the way across the rock face. This one will be coming high and hard.
Yep, hard! Hard! Hard, you gotta go! You really gotta go! Good.
And a little too close for comfort, but enough momentum to roll that rock out of the rings, and it is a blanked end. It is a 2-1 Carruthers over Calvert score as we go to the 5th end break here in Neepawa. 1 game left on the ice. It is the A side of the Page playoff. Dunstone has won the B side. It waits the winner of this game in tomorrow morning's semifinal. We'll be back with N6 in a moment.
You can support your curling club or the curling club in your community by buying tickets now in Curl Manitoba's online 50/50. After you win the big prize in the March 31st draw, 100% of the proceeds will be dispersed to the curling clubs of Manitoba for their use as needed. All you have to do is be sure to click the button to assign your ticket purchase to the curling club you wish to support. To purchase your curling club's 50/50 tickets, go online to fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba or scan the QR code on your screen now.
It means coming together, helping one another, being there, showing support. That's community. Getting together with your chums you want to curl with.
It's important to volunteer, help out as much as we can.
I love curling.
I love curling.
RME, proud sponsor of Curl Manitoba and the Scotties Women's Provincials. With 10 locations in Manitoba, RME is your preferred Case IH equipment dealer. RME, right by you.
Curl Manitoba is proudly sponsored by Manitoba Pork, locally grown, globally preferred.
Why not? Just watch. Why not? Keep scrolling, I slide. Why not?
As a broadcaster and Hall of Fame football player, I'm constantly in the lab of life. For 15 years, my friends at Knott Auto Corp have been pioneers as well.
Why not?
Introducing Winnipeg Car Lab, custom car wraps, graphics, and auto
Why
services. Winnipeg, why not get in the lab?
Curling in the small town part of Manitoba is really big in the winter. It's something for the community to do, and it really brings the community together. We can hold annual events like our bonspiels and our weekly nights. It's really something to do for everyone in the community. You can do it from any age.
Where can you find handmade delicious pizza, classic burgers, scrumptious salads, and the finest Manitoba-sourced pressure-cooked fried chicken? From small towns to big cities with 38 locations, Chicken Chef is comfort food you can count on. We're your made in Manitoba chicken choice, and pizza choice, and salad choice, and so much more. Chicken Chef, bring your appetite. We'll take care of the rest.
You work hard to keep it all together. And when you need a little help, we're there. At PharmaSave, we see you.
Live well with PharmaSave.
You can win a pair of tickets for the 2023 Tim Hortons Brier in London or the 2023 BKT Tires and OK Tire Men's Worlds in Ottawa, plus $500. Or maybe equip your team with a set of 4 of Asham's new Ultra Force brushes. And at the same time support the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame and Museum and Curl Manitoba's Curling for Life Endowment Fund. Raffle tickets are available now, 1 for $5, 4 for $10, 10 for $20. Buy online at fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba or scan the QR code on your screen right now. You can get your tickets now for the Progressive 50/50 in support of the Neepawa Curling Club and the Yellowhead Center by scanning the QR code on your screen now. The final draw will be February 12th at 3:45. Tickets are 1 for $3, 2 for $5, 5 for $10, or 12 for $20.
At McMunn & Yates, we've always believed that good neighbors make for better communities. McMunn & Yates has everything you need for your next project, right at your fingertips. And McMunnandYates.com will always be there, ready to help.
back in the arena. Keystone, not the Keystone Center at all. That's in Brandon, Manitoba. This is the Yellowhead Center. It's in Neepawa. After a blanked fifth end, Braden Calvert trails Reed Carruthers by a score of 2-1. Opening strategy, just the same as always, the yellow Carruthers Stone center guard.
This is going to be scary.
We're in. He's trying. It's cutting hard. Good.
I gave him like on the edge of the apple.
Good.
I've got a guest joining me for just a moment. We'll talk through this end with Dennis Peckover. Dennis, a gentleman I've known for a very long time. He's considerably older than I am. I'm going to say about 8 years probably. I knew him in my youth when I was a young man growing up on the farm down in southwest Manitoba. Dennis was a grain buyer in Pearson, Manitoba. But the reason he's here today is that he is a member of Ray Orr's Minnedosa Hall of Fame curling team, the team that will be honored May 7th in Brandon. And Dennis, when I say Dennis Peckover, a member of a Hall of Fame curling team, what runs through your mind?
Well, first of all, it's quite an honor, to tell you the truth. And if you've curled as much as I have, which has been a heck of a long time, to win the province and then to go on and win the Canadian National, it was just beyond all my expectations. And I'm really, it takes a while for it kind of to sink in.
So you know how some of these young men feel. There are guys out here who have won that Buffalo. There are other guys who desperately want to win the first one. And you were one of those guys for a long time, always trying. I know you played in the seniors and the masters more than you would have at the younger age. Yeah. But you know how they feel, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I know exactly how they feel. And you know something? At one time, I almost threw as good as that.
Is that in your memory or is that a fact?
Oh, that's just a memory. Yeah. Yeah.
You got to be impressed at the way the game has changed. It's a marvel the way these young men play the game now.
But the other thing is, the ice is phenomenal nowadays, and what they're curling on. You can't make those kind of shots in a regular curling ice, and when you watch them and like run backs, and the ice has got great. It's got lots of movement. You can hide a rock. It's just really phenomenal. Yeah.
So you see Ian McMillan try to run that guard just off the center line through. There were a couple of Carruthers stones in behind it. They got one, didn't get the other. A red rock, a Calvert stone sitting on the tee line over in the side. So Carruthers now making the choice to run that guard off. So Dennis, how good was your team, the Ray Orr team? Was it an accident that you won, or were you the best of the time?
Well, we had a good team, and as you know, we had a 5-man rink when we played in the provincial. I guess I should go back maybe a little bit if I got time. When we won a spot at the zone, which was at Verdun, and it was stormy. We driving back and forth. You couldn't drive on some of the roads because they were icy, but we were going the back way to get there. And then we hosted it in Minnedosa, the Masters that year, and we thought, well, this will add a little flavor to the crowd and so on and so forth. And to actually then end up winning the provincial in our home club was really something.
So Ian McMillan's playing that tap back past the guard. He'll get to the yellow Carruthers stone, slide over onto the button, a little bit open. You commented before that the ice and the rocks, Dennis, the way we watch these young men play, they can play such marvelous shots, can't they?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it'll be Samogolski.
So going back quickly, our John Mandrikas was playing lead, and Brian Mans was at second, and I was playing third, and I got to put a plug into John. When we curled at the National, as far as I'm concerned, he would have been the all-star lead.
You need a lead like that. These guys have, well, all of these teams are so solid up and down, but that start point for the end is key at any level of curling, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yep. And the thing is the camaraderie that you end up and you curl against these guys, especially when you get to the National, the other provinces, and they're all super guys. You go curl and you win, and you come back in and you sit down and have coffee or something else after the game.
I understand that used to happen.
Yeah, it used to happen. Yeah, still happens.
Keep going.
So Kyle Kerr's, that nice in-turn hit on the rock, wide open, rolls under the center line. The red stones are the Calvert stones. They lie two, one behind guard, top 4 foot on the center line, one on the tee line over to the side. And of course that white or that yellow rock is the Carruthers stone up in the top corner of the 12-foot circle. So there will be the announcement was made in January, Dennis, but there will be the honor banquet, the celebration in Brandon on the 7th of May, and I'd have to assume you're looking forward to that.
Yeah, oh yeah, yep. Probably have some family there. There'll be different people show up. Because on my job with I guess I better not say Manitoba.
No, you
Pool.
go ahead. It's all for rural folks here.
I moved around a lot,
Yeah.
and so I curled with a lot of guys. And there's a lot of guys that they're gone now, and I think about them quite a bit, and they'd be pretty happy for me, as you know what I mean. It's just one of those things.
And a good group that you're going in with. Kelly Robertson's team, among the finest people in the sport. Joyce McDougall's women's team from Brandon, fine people. Doug Armour, again with a team. And unfortunately a team, Martin Bailey's team, half of them are gone.
I know.
And you would have played against most of those teams. Not Joyce's team so much, well, obviously.
No, we didn't curl against them. But I never... And Kelly's team and that too, it's very deserving. And of course, Doug Armour's got a lot of accolades, and I've curled against Doug, really just a tremendous curler. But it's we're kind of it's amazing, and to be included into the group that's going into the Hall of Fame, and especially the builders. And like Ann Weeb, she was curling with.
She played with Elaine Jones. She played with a number of teams.
With Elaine, I've lost the name. When we were curling in Saskatoon, and I remember her, and that's very deserving.
The kind of player on the women's side, but on both sides, men's and women's sides, the kind of player you build a team around.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So Kyle Kerr's had that hit opportunity to split the rings. They rolled out, not clear which of the two biters is counting. But Reed Carruthers settles in the hack to throw his first stone. Skip rocks to come. A red rock wide open on the edge of the 8 foot on the tee line. A yellow biter in behind it. Carruthers throwing the yellow. A red biter right across the rings. The one thing that Carruthers doesn't want to do here is jam this red back onto the biter. Actually gets it to curl across the face of it. So that's the kind of shot, Dennis, maybe just a little bit lucky. He could have jammed that pretty easily.
Certainly could have, yep. It's a really good venue. Super job that Neepawa have done.
They've done a wonderful job.
Oh yeah, the ice is super. It's not cold. It's warm in here. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
So it would appear from this call that Braden Calvert may be facing two. He's playing the draw, trying to get back to the rock in the back of the 8-foot, or certainly top 4 foot behind the guard. Probably only a call you make if you do know you're facing two yellows. Three rocks to come. Calvert trails 2-1, does have the hammer, 2 reds and 1 yellow yet to come. 2 yellows in the rings. This whole sweeping science, Dennis, is just so much different than it was.
It's just phenomenal. I remember when they first started using the brush, and nowadays it's just with directional sweeping. It's just unreal what they can do with rocks, and especially like once you get ice that'll move like this and it's nice and keen. It's phenomenal.
But in that instance, very little sweeping needed. Pure shot right into the top of the 4-foot circle.
Yeah, we are. I like out-turn with hack.
Out-turn with hack. They're going to go around the outside of the guard. There's a guard straight out from the rock that you can see in the center of the 4-foot. They're going to go around it. They know coming around on the other side, the angle is such they could just leave that red one back there, the danger of a deuce. So they'll go around the outside with the out-turn, try to tap the red out to lie the 2, probably the 3, forcing Calvert to a single.
Yeah, it's a touch sticky here, but not too bad.
If you had, like I've had all week now, Dennis, the opportunity to listen to the skips and the sweepers talking to each other about that little degree of difference that you just heard Carruthers and Samagalski talk about. It's the kind of things, obviously, that you talked with your own team about, but no disrespect, not nearly at the level of sophistication that these guys do anymore.
Oh, no, I don't. It's somebody would say, well, yeah, well, so you won the Masters. Well, but you're still playing against your peers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the key, isn't it? You're playing your peers. Yeah. So the Carruthers stone cruises just past the edge of that red stone, pushes it to the button. It does give Braden Calvert the opportunity for what at one time, Dennis, was called the free draw to the rings. Any team that ever played, I was on, it wasn't free at all. You had to be nervous the whole time.
Yeah. And you've seen this week, and well, the odd time, you never see too many that are short. The odd time one will slide through.
Just slide that little bit
and that
deep.
just shows you, like we timed some of it, and it's running probably 25 plus.
Exactly.
And, that's you watch when they come out of the hack and very little leg kick, and it's just like somebody was looking at this. They'll say that'll never get down the ice. Oh yeah, it'll get there.
It'll get there with Rob Gordon and Ian McMillan sweeping, if they're allowed to sweep. In fact, it may be just...
He threw this maybe a little...
Shall we suggest that Dennis Peckover predicted it would be too heavy?
No.
No, it will not. They just simply don't have to sweep. It'll stop on the back of the 4-foot circle. 2 for Calvert. Dennis Peckover, thank you so much for joining me for this few minutes. It's been a pleasure reconnecting with you. It's been a while, and we look forward to introducing you that night on May 7th in Brandon. Thanks for being with me.
Thanks very much, Resby. I certainly enjoyed it.
My pleasure. Calvert with a deuce. 3-2 over Carruthers. We'll be back with end number 7 in just a moment.
Today's sponsor, PharmaSave. Canada's community pharmacy is proud to support Canada's community game.
At McMunn & Yates, we've always believed that good neighbors make for better communities. McMunn & Yates has everything you need for your next project, right at your fingertips. And McMunnandYates.com will always be there, ready to help.
You can support your curling club or the curling club in your community by buying tickets now in Curl Manitoba's online 50/50. After you win the big prize in the March 31st draw, 100% of the proceeds will be dispersed to the curling clubs of Manitoba for their use as needed. All you have to do is be sure to click the button to assign your ticket purchase to the curling club you wish to support. To purchase your curling club's 50/50 tickets, go online to fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba or scan the QR code on your screen now.
Well, the blanked fifth end by Braden Calvert turned out pretty darn fine. It did take a miss by Reed Carruthers. Calvert got that rock into the 4-foot circle behind the guard, and Carruthers just slid by, rubbed it, but left it open, allowed Calvert to make that draw for two. So the first we've seen on the board in a couple of games, quite honestly. So away we go now with the Calvert Stone High, or the Calvert Stone High. Carruthers rock deep into the 4-foot circle. And we're back with our regular partner, Barry Gorlick. Barry, I give you an end off, had an interesting chat with an old friend, and got some insights from that Ray Orr team that's going into the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame.
The level of pride that is shared by everyone who gets the call, assuming it is a call, to enter the Hall of Fame is something that's palpable.
Very much so.
Resby, it's actually quite beautiful to see people's reactions to the idea of being part of not only an exclusive group, but a group to which my broadcast partner, Resby Coots, belongs.
Well,
which brings up a line, but I won't.
My attitude always was, if you hang around long enough, they're going to give you the prize, and I did, and they did, and I was very much appreciative.
As opposed to the old saw attributed to, I think, one of the Marx brothers. Any group who would ask me to become a member is not a group to which I would wish to belong.
It was one of the Marx brothers, wasn't it? What a great line. So they're playing behind that one Calvert center guard of traded rocks.
It was good of you to ask me to step aside and not to have to commentate on what may be the only deuce to be scored in this game. A well-played end.
It was a pretty well-played end, and as we've predicted a couple of times, it will come down to a miss to turn a deuce, and that's what happened. Reed Carruthers just a little heavy on his last shot. He made the contact, but he didn't make enough contact. He slid off it.
And even the sliding off of it comes all the way back to the fact that these rocks are unlike rocks in a club. They'll gear off much more readily than the rocks we play with daily. Reed knows that, of course, so for him that's a miss.
So the rock, Calvert Stone behind, almost behind the center guard, is removed. Connor Negevin rolls away, allowing Calvert the opportunity to make the draw better, meaning he wants to get top 4-foot, fully on the center line.
I think same speed as this side, just with positive release, and it's fine.
Still putting the broom in the same spot as when they started. So 4 feet 6 inches of ice to bend right around the center guard that is yet again straddling the McMunn & Yates ice implanted logo.
So Ian McMillan, Kyle Kurz, Rob Gordon, the sweepers. Kyle, the real sweeper, Rob, the advisor on this one. Had to sweep it to get it by that guard, and as a result, it does slide deep in the 4-foot, pokes out on the other side.
Tremendous brushing. The Kurtz brothers are big boys, but this is tremendous angle on the brush, full body weight over the head of the brush, and really big head speed. Not to be outdone, though. Here comes Connor Negevin.
He will overcurl on a rock that was quite open on that outturn side. Curls up to tap the center line guard out of play.
Yeah, if we bite the rings, it's fine. It's all about line, right? Sure.
Third stones now. 3 rocks of each color behind the rings. A red stone being a Calvert stone in the forefoot, back of the tee line. The corner guard on the same side being the yellow stone, the Carruthers stone.
Yeah, I didn't add anything there. Didn't add anything.
Line's nice. Sweep it then.
Rob, you gotta go. Rob, you gotta go. Gotta go, Rob. You gotta cross center. You gotta cross center.
Yep, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Rob angling his brush head in the exact direction of the carve that he wants the rock to follow.
That's good.
He did get it across center. Would have liked to have gotten it another couple of inches of curl on that.
I think you need bump to roll into the corner, right? Weight would have been good.
Has left enough of the shot stone open, and Reed Carruthers checking the red rock, not biting. Probably would have hit the top one if it had been biting. Samagalski with an out turn. This one does get the curl, it gets the roll, but not enough. Over curled at the end. Leaves it wide open with the opportunity now for the Calvert team to hit and roll back to the center line.
So here's what we're seeing. 8 ends into the game. The pebble flattening just enough that we've had now that I've been invited back into the broadcast booth. I was a little worried there. We've had some overcurls. Flatter pebble means more ability of the running band on the underside of the rock, which as viewers you can't see, to grip the pebble and pull the rock a little further in the direction of the curl.
And same thing happening there, just curled a little too much at the end. He would have liked a little less angle contact, a little more roll.
Yeah, same throw.
Here's where Reed's experience kicks in. Essentially the same throw being asked of Derek Samagalski. He's adjusted the ice by an inch, looking for the roll under the corner guard. Or under the center guard, it must be.
Or right on the nose.
It's fooling them.
Yeah, I like that. Throw good, bud.
So Calvert. Skip rocks to come. Calvert throws first. The yellow Carruthers stone just across the tee line. So a roll to the button is going to be on the back of the button. Could be touching the tee line, just behind the tee line.
Close. Close.
Out-turn hit.
Oh, no. Ian.
Lots of rotation on this throw.
Yep, Rob. Hard Rob.
Changed gears on that one, looking for a roll out. Doesn't get fully under the corner guard. In fact, almost wide open.
Yeah, I think Reed can probably see a little bit of air between the outside edge of the red stone in the rings and the inside edge of the close yellow corner guards, so it's a wide open hit.
He'll want to roll under the corner, across the face. That was more of a question than a statement, by the way.
Correct. It was such a positive statement, I assumed the answer was self-explanatory, embedded within it, but yes.
If he did roll to the center line side, he'd be deep in the 8-foot circle, well behind the 4-foot.
They're babying this one.
Just lost it at the last moment. Curl at the end. And there's Connor's going to be saying, my 16-year-old self wouldn't have missed that sweep call either. Interesting comment from Kyle Kurz. I think we measure that anyway.
I think it's always going to finish in there. I think we can always get it in there. Top button, eh? Yeah. Speed's pretty similar to that side as long as we got a good release.
That's an interesting comment to vocalize, because that has to plant in Connor Negovan's mind the fact that these other guys think they've got a biter here. He's got to be really, he and Reed have to be really sure before they play a blank. Braden Calvert. His last shot here in the 7th end. They want to curl it to the center line. Full 4-foot.
Full 4. Top button. Yep, line. Hard! Hard line. Okay, line's good. Line's good. Full 4. Full 4. Bite the button.
To remove all doubt, the run back.
They will try to run the red through, kill both reds. No risk from that position of the yellow stone rolling on.
Taking a little bit of extra time with this one.
Calvert up 3-2, final stone of the 7th end. Carruthers needs to make the straight back kill. Pushes it past the edge of that red stone on the button, the last stone delivered by Braden Calvert. And so Calvert steals a single point, goes up 4-2 after 7. We'll be back with end number 8, Calvert Carruthers, after this.
Today's sponsor, Sunrise Credit Union. Building a brighter future together.
RME, proud sponsor of Curl Manitoba and the Scotties Women's Provincials. With 10 locations in Manitoba, RME is your preferred Case IH equipment dealer. RME, right by you.
Where can you find handmade delicious pizza, classic burgers, scrumptious salads, and the finest Manitoba-sourced pressure-cooked fried chicken? From small towns to big cities with 38 locations, Chicken Chef is comfort food you can count on. We're your made-in-Manitoba chicken choice, and pizza choice, and salad choice, and so much more. Chicken Chef, bring your appetite. We'll take care of the rest.
We're full 8 right now.
4-2. Braden Calvert over Reed Carruthers after a steal of one, a steal manufactured by Calvert with his final shot, a draw to the 4-foot circle behind a rock. May or may not have been biting on the center line at the top of the rings, but Carruthers really had a very fine draw to the button for a single or a run attempt at a blank. Chose the run attempt, didn't curl up quite enough, ran the rock from the front of the rings across the red stone without touching it, and so Calvert steals a single point, takes a 4-2 lead into the 8th end. And this time, the first Calvert stone is right in the 4-foot circle.
So for those few fans who are viewing this broadcast and are supportive of the idea of being passionate about arithmetic, here's the math. 3 ends to go. Theoretically, Calvert has hammer in ends 8 and 10.
Yeah, right on the logo. Might have to wait on this one.
Pardon me, Carruthers has.
I wasn't going to correct you, teacher. That got me banished from the classroom at one time.
In ends 8 and 10. Reed and his team are thinking we get a deuce in 8. We hold Calvert to 1 in 9. We get another deuce in 10. And the final score, partner Coots, would then be?
One more than the other guys had.
Exactly. Six to 5. That's the thinking of the Carruthers team through the balance of this game.
The flaw in the logic, of course, is that through 7 ends there have only been a single deuce scored. So the idea of scoring 2 deuces in 3 ends doesn't fit. But Carruthers will give it a shot. He's got a tight corner guard, placing a second one.
The textbook clogging of the center line with red stones. And after the delivery of this rock, any stone anywhere is free game to be hit, and it will be game number 8, end number 8, fully on.
Yeah, we're tight right now. We're not in right now. Top 12.
So it's Ian McMillan's out-turn draw past that center line guard. To bite the top of the 4-foot. Another expression I haven't heard a lot. He used all of it. I think that interprets as he was a little bit wide.
Yes.
But by the time he got to the top of the rings, he overcurled a little bit. And Connor Negevin will try to follow to get into the pocket of the 2 reds.
Line's good. Line. Where's the wing?
Whoa, guys.
Whoa. Whoa. Mini rub on the 5. Whoa. On its own. Nice shot.
Mini rub on the 5. He got exactly what he wanted. A little rub and roll back in front of that red stone in the 4-foot.
Line's good, let us know.
So the idea of rearranging the rocks with a mini bump, if the weight of this next Ian McMillan throw warrants it, it's up to the front end to let their skipper know exactly how strong it might be.
No, not more. Weight's good. You can go. Right to it.
We'll try to make contact with the yellow. Separate the red from the yellow, but it's going to, in fact, be a little underweight for the contact that he was looking for.
Could go around the corners, too.
Whatever you like, bud.
Both good calls, bending one around the corners or coming into the pile. At some point, the pile will have to be dealt with. Both teams know that.
But that Yellowstone in the center line is in a very nice position, and eventually Calvert knows he's going to have to deal with it in some way, or it's going to come to bite him. So,
and Carruthers is going to let him do just that.
Line's good.
Too much weight right now.
Line's good.
Weight's good.
Here it goes.
Line's good. Weight's good. Curl side. Curl side. Clean.
we'll try to bury this rock behind those two yellows.
The ice is changing because everybody called that one heavy, and it came to rest in a perfect spot above the tee line. So the paths have been burned up just a little bit through the travel of rocks over them and the use of heavy brushing throughout the game so far.
Conversation is about following the yellow behind the corners or all out playing a guard off center. Consultation concluded.
Gotta watch we don't give him a peel, you know, that. Yeah.
Corner freeze on the Yellowstone. Needing to outcount it is the way they're leaning right now.
Yeah, and anything off of this one this way might catch that. Right here?
I kind of like that, Vico.
Seeing in-turn, cross?
Yeah, I think so.
You're on the C in McMahon.
Just got to just cross the center line, right?
Yeah.
I can't illustrate it, but they're actually looking to put a red rock
Yeah. Start weight. Yeah, we just got to cross the center line.
right there.
So they do eventually conclude that the guard is the play. Kyle Kurz with his first in this 8th end.
Line's good. How's weight?
Got room. Line's good. Line's good. You gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go. Line's really good.
Line's good.
Line's really good.
Easy.
Line's really good.
Easy.
Whoa, 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 over curling. Over curling. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa.
It's on the line of the C in McMahon, a little bit short of it, but it's doing the job.
Yeah, I like that shot.
Just dead nose, bro.
Team Carruthers is looking to blow it up.
Smooth.
He's right.
He thinks the net result of this is yellow will be lying second shot still. The rock on the left-hand side of the 4-foot circle is going to stay for now. The Calvert stone behind the yellow obviously is going to go if he gets the right angles on all of these.
Whoa, 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 curl.
That's unlucky.
That's pure unlucky. It's the worst possible result. Better to run it straight through than to have rubbed that red stone in behind. It's now fully protected.
And the Yellowstone at the top of the 4-foot is fully vulnerable.
Looks like it's touching right now.
Calvert lies too, and has the ability to protect them.
Well, I'm thinking we kind of split the difference between these two.
Yeah, I think that. I think that's good. Yep. We don't want to leave a hole in the middle, though.
No.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Remember, there is the guard out on the left-hand side of that center line in that previous shot, the one that Barry had showed us, aimed towards the C and the McMunn, so it's just a few inches across center. They don't want to leave room to pass between it.
Wide, it might die out here. I think it's Robbie. I think it's Robbie. You gotta go. Gotta go, Rob. Gotta go, Rob. Gotta go, Rob. You're making a move. You gotta go.
This is a critical guard.
Hard. You gotta go. Hard. Hard. Go, go, go.
Came up short and wide.
That did leave that port that they didn't want to leave.
But it never touches that. I think you just got to play this right now.
Yeah, just move everything behind the guard.
Yeah.
That's a shot. So, like, what are you thinking? Like a
Back
half?
8.
Okay.
Back 12. Yeah.
Back 12. Just enough so that we kick everything to the right.
Yeah, I don't know if we can make. Let's play intern and some rotation, I think, to make that. Yeah, like, I think that's as much as you're going to be able to get by the guard.
That red onto yellow does not contact the red behind, so it's a case of moving things around a little bit. It's not a case of trying to remove something.
Ideally to shuffle the red rocks to the side and the back red rock in behind the tee line with what looks like just back line weight.
It's got to pass close by the guard and then curl across the face of the redstone. Does make the contact past the guard, but not what he wanted on the angle of contact, but does push that yellow fully behind the guard or into the 4 foot. Second shot.
And the top yellow is vulnerable to a triple if the opportunity is still there.
Closer than I thought.
Hard for us to tell, but it does appear to be yellow from our overhead, with the camera perhaps not being directly centered over the pin. It does look like yellow, though. Which is huge.
So from the other end, we'll be able to see that there's a reasonably narrow port.
Close for shot.
Just straight out from the R's in Viterra.
If you like it, let's play it.
They think they can play a hack weight shot through the port.
We've seen the spot. Let's be good. Be gradual in there.
You like that?
The port is there, and they're coming through with hack weight, hoping it will bend enough to make contact.
There you can see the port we're talking about.
Yeah, there
the
you
red
are.
rock that was aimed at the C in McMahon a while ago still sits where it was. Yellow line, or yellow guard further over. Probably a rock and a half or a little more width of space to go through. If they get through the port, they will contact the yellow rock in the back of the 4 foot. No question about that.
The pressure on Rob Gordon as inside pressure.
Braden Calvert.
To hold this rock
His
straight.
first stone here
Ian.
in the 7th end.
Hard, Ian. Hard, Ian. Hard.
Trying to curl it.
Hard. Hard. Keep going. Keep going.
Does cruise right through that port. Rolls back under the guards, and Calvert lies 4.
So now we come to the question of the run back.
There's the replay.
Too much up there.
Just past that outside of the guard.
his weight control made that shot.
So the Carruthers team has taken a timeout, their first of this game.
All three Reds spill.
Great sweep, buddy.
She's not quite like CP last night, but this side's getting that way.
Getting that. No. But that's good job.
He has to get to the nose of this yellow stone. So he's got to play very tight to the red guard just off center line. If he can make all three yellows or reds disappear, he'll have 1, 2, 3 yellows in the ring. 1 red buried for the moment, but accessible on the outturn side with a tap. So it's Carruthers. He'll throw the in-turn hit up the center line. Got to be tight to the guard. We'll see if Barry Gorlick is right. All three reds can leave the rings.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good, but he does leave 1 red rock high in the 8-foot circle. That's, and we got this replay for you.
Feathers the guard. Oh boy. There's that unmentionable cigarette paper again from a sponsor of the Brier many years ago.
So it leaves red, Calvert, first and third shot. And perhaps the more important one is the third shot, because it keeps that yellow stone at the tee line on the left-hand side of the screen as a non-counter, no matter what happens here forward.
Yeah, do we ever try to just play a guard here, and if we move this an inch, it's perfect? That blocks both. Right, if we play that, it blocks both.
Might as well.
The Calvert team was down to 8 minutes and 30 seconds of time,
If we play guard in here and we sweep and just move
so they're going to use a timeout.
Well, we're just playing a high guard and then we sweep it, right? Right now, either way, it's a tough shot.
The guard here, in my mind, is going to force Reed Carruthers to play the shot that I think he wants to play, and that is to promote the angle promotion on the yellow rock just outside the 12-foot circle.
Yeah, because we don't have to cover much on this side.
We're for sure third.
Yeah, we're for sure third. Yeah, we're trying to throw a guard right here. Yeah, and if we move this 2 inches, it's perfect.
Exactly. They need to be staggered.
Yeah, we want the same ice he gave for my first one, right?
So that Reed has no ability to do anything other than ignore them.
So what they're trying to prevent is the Reed Carruthers shot past the center guard, tapping yellow onto red for a possible 2.
Two turning point shots back to back, Resby. Reed's that was just made, and now this one for Braden Calvert.
A draw.
Hey, what's the weight like?
A guard, it wants to be just to the center line.
Oh, curl.
If he does get contact with the red center line guard just off center, doesn't want to move it very far. Now sweep the curl to get that little rub.
Attaboy, real good.
Perfect.
Absolutely the call that was made.
What were you seeing?
7.
This one?
Maybe this one on a chisel. Both are available.
I see that one going yellow onto red to push the red out the back of the 8-foot.
if he can get on it enough.
2/3.
2/3.
That looks like the shot they like.
Okay.
It's marginal, but
Well, yellow, yellow.
if Reed were a left-hander, it would be easier. For a right-hander, I think they're generous when they say he can see 2/3 of the rock from a right-hander's hack.
Yeah, I'm going in the frost, right?
Yeah, I was thinking that was.
The issue being,
Yeah, let's make the yellows. What's that? Yeah, let's make this. Yeah, let's make the yellow back.
Derek's in the way.
Seeing like hitting it onto a quarter, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a third of that one.
Okay.
A third of that one.
Throwing out turn or in turn?
I'm gonna throw the in turn. I'll get a bit of curl.
And I'm aiming for a thick half?
Yeah. Thick half. Almost. Yeah. Thick half.
Okay.
Thick half is perfect.
What do you want to see?
Okay. I'm gonna throw smooth. Yeah. Throw it down. Thick half. More. That's
This
close.
is the angle they're trying to create.
Intern. Smooth. Yeah.
Yellow across the face of the yellow, and then running that second yellow back to red to count 2. 4-2. Calvert leads Carruthers thanks to a steal of 1 on the 7th end. Carruthers playing a combination. In-turn hit, wants to contact center line side, high side of the Yellowstone across the face of the second yellow, back into the red.
Come on, Ram.
And makes exactly that. What an outstanding curling shot for a deuce and for a tie game. 4-all after 8 completed ends. Calvert Carruthers 4-4. We'll be back with end number 9 in a moment.
Thank you for joining us for this Manitoba Championship draw, brought to you by Seagram's VO. Masterfully blended, distinctly Canadian. You can win a pair of tickets for the 2023 Tim Hortons Brier in London or the 2023 BKT Tires and OK Tire Men's Worlds in Ottawa, plus $500. Or maybe equip your team with a set of 4 of Asham's new Ultra Force brushes. And at the same time, support the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame and Museum and Curl Manitoba's Curling for Life Endowment Fund. Raffle tickets are available now. 1 for $5, 4 for $10, 10 for $20. Buy online at fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba or scan the QR code on your screen right now.
Curling in the small town part of Manitoba is really big in the winter. It's something for the community to do, and it really brings the community together. We can hold annual events like our bonspiels and our weekly nights. It's really something to do for everyone in the community. You can do it from any age.
Here it is again, folks. This is one that is the 3rd YouTube turning point in a row in one end. What a shot. They thought they lost it, but Derek Samagalski hit it and managed to hold it.
It's seeing the angles that is so magical on that one, because you're hitting the inside of a rock, pushing it sideways across the top of another rock, hitting it cornerways backwards against a rock that you want to remove.
This is pure speculation. I know that Reed has been interviewed about the desire to be a member of the Winnipeg Jets as a 14-year-old, and apparently his letter from the Jets to their summer tryout camp being lost in the mail. At least that's his version of it. But something tells me he played a little bit of snooker as a young lad too, because those angles not only take practice, but you have to be able to see them. That's a billiard shot using 44-pound billiard balls.
So, an exciting moment for the Carruthers team, a big adrenaline bump from that shot, but it is still tied. 4-4, Braden Calvert and his team have last rock. Center line guard by Carruthers. Rock to the tee line in the wings by Calvert.
Just as a modest reminder on the arithmetic tutorial, job 1 of 3 accomplished. 2 points by Carruthers in the 8th end. Job number 2, their focus will be to force Calvert to take a single point only. Calvert will be thinking a deuce or a blank.
And it does come perfectly to rest, about 1.5 to 2 inches outside the rings.
Resby, this is great curling. They're just feeling it, and this is as good as it gets.
Stein. I think it's good.
Yep, Kyle. Yep.
Attaboy, good throw.
2 now. Reds now frozen in the edge of the rings. Not quite lined up. They can be killed.
Whatever you like.
No, it's either I'm either seeing draw or
Whatever you like, bud.
smooth. Hair inside.
Looking to get a roll to the middle with the shooter. Connor throwing his intern. The rock will gear over top of the target rock and change rotation.
Great shot, Con.
Snows it.
That red rock may or may not be biting.
Sure.
There's no moment at this point in time to try to rip off a couple.
Yeah, you might get lucky, but probably not.
You can't make the other way.
Yeah.
Out turn, yeah.
Ian McMillan. The left-hander's out turn. He'll try to rip off a couple of guards. Doesn't get either. Was looking for one or the other, although contact on the center line side of the rock in the 12-foot was likely to jam on the red rock, which may or may not be biting.
High guard. It's a high guard call. For sure a high guard.
What are you guys seeing?
High guard?
Yeah, it's just we're leaving him the crack.
I know. No matter what we do, though, right? If we go
or
in.
you're going here.
Yeah, but then he's running it in.
Well, if he's running it and we're here, that's leaving a guard.
Okay, bud. Sure. Whatever you see.
Okay, going here.
Decision made.
Yeah, even back 12.
Invited input from the front end. Got the input. Considered the input. Decided he was right all along.
And front end being deferential, thinking to themselves, 3 minutes ago, he made the shot of the week, perhaps. Let him call what he wants.
We'll let him call this one.
Line's good.
So it's Samagalski with an out-turn draw, wants to be back 8 foot.
Okay.
Setting up a couple, setting up the force more than anything else here, Barry.
Absolutely.
13-8. Okay, we're going to go to here. Okay, whoa.
Shot, Derek.
Okay.
Nice shot, bud.
Yep.
The Carruthers team will do almost anything with rock placement to force Calvert to a single point here. If they can do that and go into the 10th end, one down with hammer, the odds are they win the game.
So he makes the run, rolls over, doesn't roll on for a biter, but rolls off the center line.
We're just splitting the rings now.
Strategy now for Carruthers, all out to force.
I don't care. Like, I think.
I don't mind either.
This is a toss-up call. Why not make use of the guard, perhaps, but then the run back is easy.
I'm just worried he's going to go red, sideways, roll in.
There's a chance we could leave a triple, so let's go here.
That's the shot.
Foot above the tee.
He's throwing it the same, just a hair left. Okay.
Thinking 2 rocks ahead. There's no triple until there are 2 more Carruthers rocks in the rings, but that's the level of respect these teams have for each other.
I think that particular conversation involved a triple that included the red rock just
Agreed.
outside the rings. If you get out to the side of the 12-foot, the angle is going to be near 90% to come off the red to the yellow on the far side and red the red onto the yellow.
You're right.
So they've taken that away by going behind into the top of the 4-foot circle.
Yeah. I like normal.
Yeah, just an easy normal, I think.
Yeah.
The straight back,
Just a sliver low.
Yeah.
the straight back nose hit on the yellow leaves a red rock, full 8-foot circle buried. Shot.
Yep. Easy.
Yep. Whoa. Yep.
Whoa.
Yep.
Yep. Hard.
Hard.
Whoa, whoa,
Whoa.
Yep,
Yes,
yep,
yes,
yep,
yes,
yep,
yes, hard.
Not quite what he wanted. He does roll a little bit open.
Still got a force here, bud. Still got a good force. Let's just make these good shots here. He's throwing this a bunch.
Bump.
I'm going to stay down for you, okay? Give me that good release.
Connor Negovin, cheerleading, coaching, and commentating. All in an exceptionally supportive way, and all very illustrative of the level of skill. that these
Samagalski, the
guys-
final third stone here. 6 rocks now have been thrown by the yellow team. They will get to the face of the red stone.
Okay, nice throw.
Not heavy. That was wrong.
Yeah, I like hack.
Hack weight.
Yeah.
Trust it, it'll come over.
Yeah.
Looking for an inside roll.
Just half.
Speed's good.
Clean. Whoa.
Whoa.
Ian.
Ian. Hard, Ian. Hard, Ian. Hard. Hard.
That's fine.
Rolls a little bit out.
Too much ice, I think.
Red shot rock. Carruthers. Skip rocks to come, and Carruthers will throw first. A yellow, try to roll under the center line guard. Guard 4-8 inches off center to lie 2.
Touch less, actually.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Carruthers, an out turn. He's trying to cross the face of the red stone in the 12-foot. Roll across under the guard.
Curl, curl.
Curl. Got a curl. Got a curl.
Gotta go, Derek.
Okay.
Whoa.
Curl. Curl. Okay, good.
Whoa.
Good.
He's not going to get the curl he was looking for.
Sorry.
So facing two, knowing they're forced anyway, Braden Calvert, Kyle Kurz decide the call is to go behind that guard, bite the top of the forefoot, sit on the 2 R's in the Viterra.
What'd I throw then?
Target brush on the edge of the 8-foot circle. The guard they're trying to go behind sits 6-8 inches across center.
Line's good. Always Ian. Line's good. It's always Ian.
Line's fine.
It's always Ian. Yes, line. Oh. Okay, well, no, we're going to overcurl. We're going to overcurl. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. 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 Got to stop.
Massive overcurl.
Does slide to the tee line, but will sit wide open, virtually wide open in that port.
Well, it is overlapped just enough to make the decision interesting. This is a weight shot if Reed tries to go after it. He'll get the movement for sure. Just enough weight to bump it out of the rings.
Just enough weight to be lying 3 to force Calvert to throw a draw for a single.
Yep.
Yep. Hard!
Yep.
Hard!
Yeah!
Hard!
Clean!
Hard!
At risk of overcurling here.
Hard, hard, hard!
Yep, yep!
No, just gets by the guard. Sits purely in the edge of the 4-foot circle.
Okay, buddy, got it.
So Calvert facing 3 with the dilemma of, do I draw to the button for 1 or do I draw to the 8-foot to give him 1?
Exactly. The current thinking with the no-tick rule from some of the top men's teams, not in Manitoba, is if it turns out that we give him 1, we're okay with that. It seems counterintuitive, but being 1 down with hammer
Always Ian. A little tight. All you guys.
is
All you
viewed
guys,
by
line's
many
okay.
teams as
Yeah,
an
Ian.
advantage.
Starting to curl already.
Really curly.
Hard line. Hard line. Hard.
Little underthrown. There's risk here that
You gotta go.
Calvert is about to give up a steal of
Hard,
3.
hard.
And in fact has done exactly that. All of a sudden the game changes from a 4-4 tie to a down, a 7-4. Reed Carruthers steals 3, and they will go to the home end. Calvert with last rock, but trailing by 3. We hope you're enjoying this Manitoba Championship curling, brought to you by Seagram's 83, Manitoba's favorite Canadian whiskey.
Where can you find handmade delicious pizza, classic burgers, scrumptious salads, and the finest Manitoba-sourced pressure-cooked fried chicken? From small towns to big cities with 38 locations, Chicken Chef is comfort food you can count on. We're your made-in-Manitoba chicken choice, and pizza choice, and salad choice, and so much more. Chicken Chef, bring your appetite. We'll take care of the rest.
Eat. Meet.
Stay.
Can-Add Inn's destination centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Can-Add Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CAN-AD or visit us right now at canadins.com.
Well, a shocking turn of events here on the 9th when 3 goes on the board. Our scoreboard there suggests it was only 2, but in fact it was a 3, and a stolen 3 after a deuce has Reed Carruthers leading 7-4 over Braden Calvert. They'll play a few Roxbury Gorlick, but this end probably doesn't go to the full conclusion, and without something equally dramatic happening on the other side.
Right. When we were at the end of end number 7, speculating on the way in which the arithmetic for the remaining 3 ends might play out, the idea of a steal of 3 simply isn't something you contemplate. And what's interesting is some way, somehow, Braden Calvert must have lost concentration, because the speed of the ice and the path he was coming down has been consistent through the entire game. He has a tremendously powerful front end whose brushing ability he can trust, and he plain and simple came up short.
So playing from the outside, Connor Negovin is going to play the outside tick, push that rock into the ring so they could hit it the next time. It slid right by. That effectively is a more polite call than standing at the back of the rings and saying, just throw it through.
Right.
Line's good. Cutting a bit.
A gesture of respect to the other team to some extent. You just had something unfortunate happen to you. I'm not going to try to embarrass you.
Yeah, as competitive as they are, the hope, if not the expectation, is that they'll be seeing each other again in about 16 hours, is it, Resby?
Approximately, yeah. And I'm going to put in one more plug here at 8:30 in the evening. In 3.5 hours, midnight tonight, the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame Curl Manitoba Endowment Fund fundraising raffle ticket sales close. You can win a pair of tickets to the World Championship in London, Ontario, or the Briar in London, Ontario, or the World Championship in Ottawa, Ontario, along with the tickets, a $500 check. Also, the opportunity to win 4 of Asham's new Ultra Force brushes, a new innovation in brush technology in context of the attachment of the head to the handle. So I do invite your contributions in the form of a raffle ticket purchase in support of the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame or the Endowment Fund. And the website is fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba. Fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba. And the ticket sales do close at midnight tonight.
As competitive as the game is, as high as the stakes are, it doesn't matter at what level you play the game of curling. Winning a game based on an opponent's miss just doesn't feel very right. And you can almost see that in the body language of the players on the ice.
You do want to win because you made the shot to win.
And the shot to win, as it ultimately turns out, was the Reed Carruthers angle raise, angle takeout, which was one for this event's books, if not for Curling in Canada's books in the 2022-23 season.
A magnificent 2 angles, double raise.
Back tee. Back tee. I don't want to go. Not a boy.
Really nice.
You play that thin.
Hit roll line
Yeah.
3. Yeah,
I like
line-
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So bud.
Yeah. See, now turn to normal.
Almost nose hit over here. 4-inch roll to the inside to bite the 8-foot circle to lie 3. Among other things, takes the corner guard out of play without having to hit it.
Clean. Clean, yep. Clean, yep. Yep, yep, yep. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
We're third.
We're third.
Do you like that, or do you like freezing the back yellow?
Yeah.
We got to make a perfect guard then.
Yeah. You want to go here?
That was my first thought, yeah.
Sure.
Desperate times, desperate measures, needing a
Freezing to either
perfect shot
one's
from
fine.
Kyle Kurz.
Yeah, I don't like this one. Might
Can
give
come
him
off,
something.
okay.
Okay, come here.
I think so.
Looking to make a perfect
Give lots of
freeze.
ice and then get a little
I don't
time
even
in.
know where to put ice out here. Look at there.
Yeah.
Now that's going to be a fresh path with relatively unused pebble that wide, which means it could run.
Sliver tight.
You can go. Line's good.
Line's great. Actually, that's the
Kyle
drill bit.
Kurz, out-turn draw, trying to get past the rock at the tee line to the yellow stone in the back of the 8-foot circle.
It's really got to curl. It's not curling at all.
Hardy in.
Hasn't moved.
Not going to get the big curl they're looking for. Needed a little bit more weight. Might have died in there at the
I
end.
think you rolled just a touch. Nose is okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, just normal. That's a little hard, so normal weight. Yep, yep. Gotta go. Yep. Whoa, whoa, off.
Great shot.
Good.
Great shot.
So Carruthers now lies 3. Calvert has 3 rocks to come. They will take a timeout.
The decision here is all about rock placement.
Yeah, I think that's our hope, right? What kind of? I'm thinking
Hack. Good hack.
hack. We don't need to move the yellow very far, right? We're just trying to basically play a redirect, right? We're hitting a quarter rock. Yeah.
Easy hack.
Easy hack, yep. Sure. Yeah, I like that.
So they're playing the out-turn hack weight shot, trying to get to the yellow rock over at the side, trying to bring that red rock back into play by coming off the yellow at the tee line,
Looks like Max.
rolling back to the yellow stone in the back of the rings.
Yeah.
Not a double kill, just moving one out of play, bringing that outside red into play, and rolling back in front of the yellow stone at the back of the rings.
Easy hack weight.
How much?
Again, Rob Gordon on the inside brush, trying to hold it on line.
Hard! Hard!
Does make the contact. Doesn't get the roll he wanted. A little too much of the Yellowstone. He needed to get less of it so that he squirted off it a little bit more. So it does sit wide open in the 4-foot circle.
And the worst news is that once again, Reed Carruthers will have 3 yellow stones. Lying shots 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. This will curl nice, like off the line's curling, so right there with control.
Like that ice drop?
It's good. It's good ice.
Carruthers comes to the hack, skips rocks to come, 2 yellow, 2 red.
Yeah, I like that. Out turn control.
Lean only. Lean only. Yep.
Whoa.
Lean.
Whoa, whoa. Yep.
Whoa.
Whoa, whoa. Yep. Whoa.
Yep. Yep.
Whoa.
Whoa. That boy.
Nose hit.
Half buried at least.
So Calvert will try the double kill. The one on the corner of the 4-foot, across the one or to the one in the back. Punch them both out, roll under the guard a little bit at least.
How about that? Pretty risky for him to play that. He misses it. We got 3.
He's probably still playing.
I mean, this looks really hard to me.
Yeah, we're always giving him half.
This is the shot that Resby described, and it does look really hard.
It looks really hard to me.
The team doesn't love it.
But I think it may have been said earlier in the day, if you're going to win a game in this situation, you may have to make a really hard shot.
I kind of think that's the shot there. Right, and he's got a 4-foot run, but he has to make contact.
This?
So they're really talking about running the port.
I think that double roll. If we ever move our red at all, that's counting, and then we won't have a shot.
What do you think? Board through the hole or good control?
Interesting call. You play the port, you sit in the back.
Easy control?
Yep. You can throw whatever weight. Board's fine too. Whatever weight you want to throw.
That's where he wants to end up.
They can try to follow you. If they don't happen to, they rub one side of the hole or the other.
Yeah.
You might still have a shot for 3. They probably play a run. Got to touch it.
Like really, we whisker by that front one. I think we need just board to make it.
Just board?
Yeah, it's got to be coming in.
That look good for ice?
So not only does he want to get through the port and make contact, he wants to get a little roll under the rock that's biting the button.
Exactly.
Hard to see your broom there.
Board weight is always scary on ice with this much movement, especially this late in the game. It's now good board, so board plus an extra half second.
So we'll see what comes of the shot by Braden Calvert, trying to execute a little board weight shot between the two on the tee line to the rock in the back of the rings. But he makes contact and rolls out of rings, and that does, to some extent, end the misery. Unfortunate, a remarkable game that just went sour with that last shot on the 9th end, and Carruthers trying to draw to the 4-foot circle, needed to be in the 8-foot to give up a 1, might have been the desirable shot, ends up coming up a couple feet short of the rings, gives up the 3, down 7-4. They simply were not going to come back in that 10th end. So Barry Gorlick, an interesting day tomorrow. Braden Calvert and his team drop now to the semifinal in the Page playoff, coming off a loss. They'll play Matt Dunstone, coming off a win. That's the Page playoff semifinal. Reed Carruthers, in a quite familiar position, 8 times in the last 11 years he's been in the final game. He's won 6 of them, lost 2 of them. So Reed Carruthers awaits the winner of Dunstone, Calvert. What do you see for tomorrow?
Well, Reed can make Manitoba history. This is the first time he'll make his way to the final as a 3-man team. So we can add to the year's results. He's trying to turn this into a troika, a trio. A Guju and a Dean Carruthers. Maybe all hyphenated, but that's really something.
It's been an interesting day. Last thoughts before we take off for the evening?
Somehow the Calvert team, they won't have difficulty. They'll just recollect their thoughts and come out firing against Matt Dunstone. Matt Dunstone, the number 1 seed, from some perspectives, maybe a team of destiny coming back to Manitoba to try to win that Buffalo. Oh boy, the morning game is going to be something. And then, oh boy, the afternoon game is going to be really something. And then apparently south of the border, there's a 4-down football game that happens after the curling's done. But we don't need to talk about that.
No, we do not. So it is the end of the next to last day of play at the 2023 Viterra Championship at the Yellowhead Center in Neepawa. And Matt Dunstone will play Braden Calvert tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. We'll be here. We hope you're with us. Resby Coots for Barry Gorlick. Thank you very much, and thanks for being with us. Today's sponsor, Sunrise Credit Union. Building a brighter future together.
RME, proud sponsor of Curl Manitoba and the Scotties Women's Provincials. With 10 locations in Manitoba, RME is your preferred Case IH equipment dealer. RME, right by you.
You work hard to keep it all together. And when you need a little help, we're there. At PharmaSave, we see you.
Live well with PharmaSave.
You can support your curling club or the curling club in your community by buying tickets now in Curl Manitoba's online 50/50. After you win the big prize in the March 31st draw, 100% of the proceeds will be dispersed to the curling clubs of Manitoba for their use as needed. All you have to do is to be sure to click the button to assign your ticket purchase to the curling club you wish to support. To purchase your curling club's 50/50 tickets, go online to fundingchange.ca/curlmanitoba or scan the QR code on your screen now.